4 work sessions. A, Sports, Visitation, and Entertainment Annual Update. Mr. Poma.
Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Dr. Casey, Mr. Minks. It's great to be up here today, and I'm really excited to have colleagues and friends in the room. But before we do, I think something I would really like to take a moment and just reflect upon is Mr. Holland's influence on tourism. As you know, a board member of Richmond Region Tourism for as long as I can remember. Really, I think since the day he first stepped in office, if I'm not correct, here in Chesterfield. And looking over Dr. Miller's left shoulder, I'm kind of at peace with that baseball back there because, you know, that Pony League World Series meant so much to Mr. Holland. And for all of us in this room, Neil, Mr. Luther knows this, but that was really the first sports tourism event here in the county. So while today is a lot of good news, I don't think we can move forward without reflecting upon the influence that he's had on tourism in this room. So thank you for allowing me this opportunity. Before we get going, I'd like to introduce some of my team. Up here next to me is Mr. Matt Mullen, who is our new Assistant Director of Sports, Visitation, and Entertainment. I also have looking over Matt's shoulder there, Miss Liz Hart, who is the head of really our marketing and communications function within SV&E. And then you'll hear a lot about local athletics today and kind of the transition into this department, and that function's led by Miss Ronnie Hobson over there. So really appreciate having a team that day in and day out wakes up with the passion to create an identity here in Chesterfield, and I hope that's what we'll get across is today is really a passion for creating that first choice community and that first choice destination. Over really the last year, I can't believe it's been a year since we've been sitting up here. That word identity is what continues to dominate what we do day in and day out. Sports tourism is an identity. Experience Chesterfield is an identity. Our Parks and Recreation Department, what they do throughout all of our parks is an identity. But our priorities have stayed almost exactly the same. And Mr. Mullen here is going to talk about the infusion of local athletics and what that means to Chesterfield County. But really, when you look at it, all three of these things up here are really about creating that identity. It's been an award-winning year for SV&E, and I think the fun part of being in a new department is that a lot of fresh looks and a fresh set of eyes on things, and you get to create new things, whether it's Cole the mascot that you see up there, winning events, all the different things that come with creating a new department really in conjunction with Mr. Luther and his efforts has been a really fun year for us, but also really roots our team in their day-to-day effort to create this identity. When you look and you see that Virginia is for Lovers logo, I could not move on without talking about the importance of everything you're going to see throughout today in becoming what y'all know as an official destination marketing organization. That does not take away from the state's role as a DMO, a regional role as a DMO, other localities' role in as a DMO. It allows us to do what we do every day and be as fiscally responsible as we can in driving our brand and identity forward. And really wanted to call attention to that here in the beginning. Lastly, before Mr. Mullen jumps into really number 2 here, you know, you've heard me use that word home field advantage a lot. And we couldn't do sports tourism. We couldn't create an identity through tourism without thinking about our local athletics and our athletes. So what you're going to hear about today is really an intentional effort to grow our relationships in the community. And Mr. Mullen would not be seated here if it were not for his expertise in this. And I'll let him dive in.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to be here to help present our Year 2 update, which is very crazy to sit here and say that. I remember last year when Mr. Poma gave our Year 1 update and all of the wonderful things that we've done over the last 2 years, and what's to come is very exciting. But like JC mentioned, and we'll discuss more in depth later, championing local sports is very much a part of my background. I came here a little over 2 years ago from Henrico County, where I was predominantly involved in the local sports scene. And this is very much a part of our strategic fabric, and adding this function to our team will only allow us to better assist our leagues and continue to showcase Chesterfield across the Commonwealth. This move has been very strategic to ensure that there's one contact, one face, and better customer service from one dedicated team. So we're excited to see this as it continues to grow.
Team Chesterfield, you see a lot of slides like this, and I think it's a very common theme throughout department presentations, is really what this community means to us. Tourism and visitation, and now even local athletics into what we do is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a dynamic economic engine that happens because of the great quality of life here in Chesterfield, but because of everybody's community efforts. You just see, we could go on and on. We could have slides with, numerous logos up there of, who means what to our community. And it's been a very fun year to work with so many new partners, to see the Children's Museum and the zoo come to life in creating the Experience Chesterfield identity. But I also know that what we do all across the departments, what we do with your passion, your vision to create a Chesterfield that is a family-friendly Chesterfield, a great quality of life in Chesterfield, that is our mission every single day. We could not do what we do. Mr. Luther sitting over there. Everybody here works hard to help create a brand and identity. And I thank Mr. Luther for his guidance and expertise in the realm where we work together, but so many other departments. Dave and his team, Teresa, fill a huge void for us, really in the media and communication side, where Liz just can't do it all. And so appreciate y'all's effort in how you help us create an identity and a brand here in Chesterfield. But these are just more of our experiential Chesterfield brand partners, and I think Mr. Mullen has a few he'd like to specifically shout out here on the sports and events side.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have so many local partners, both internally and externally, from organizations that we work with day in and day out, like Midlothian Tennis Club or Ironbridge Baseball Academy, to new partners like Richmond Icebox, the new hockey rink that's going behind the Lake Project, and the 360 Fieldhouse, the indoor complex that's going near Hidden Wit. I've had a lot of conversations with our new partners lately, trying to help them navigate the development process and how they can better partner with us and with the county moving forward as they continue to progress in their projects. And we've had a lot of success with some of our partners lately. Swim RVA just announced last week that they won the bid to host the USA Masters National Championship in 2027. So we're very excited for Adam and his team. We've got a partner here with us today that we'll share a special message about here shortly. And internally, for the 2 years that we've been in existence, we've really worked hard to better partner locally with other departments like fire, police, EMS, and ensure a level of safety for our athletes and our families at our events. So we're very fortunate. We're very lucky. We have a lot of great partners that make us look very good.
Thanks, Matt. We talk about visitation a lot. We can talk about all the different impacts and factors that drive visitation, how we measure visitation, how we drive revenue to the county. But I want to start here because this is a very important piece, especially for you all. As you know, the Sports Visitation and Entertainment Department is funded completely off of our lodging tax rebate. Those are legally restricted dollars that go towards tourism and infrastructure efforts. How we look at these dollars and work with Mr. Luther on all of the field and upgrade amenities, working with budget and Mr. Harris and how we're projecting out the future, it starts with our hotel data. And I think we are in a very, very positive lodging market. You see that top slide, that top picture there on this slide is the number of active hotel rooms and hotels across this region. Chesterfield currently sits at 52 hotels and just over 4,400 hotel rooms. We are in a thriving lodging market, and nothing shows that more than the slide right, or the picture right below that. Every day, every month, you usually see a new hotel added to that in process or in the pipeline under construction. That is in large part due to the demand. I think probably for the first year or two here in Chesterfield, you heard me talk a lot about occupancy rate. And I've kind of moved on from occupancy rate with you all, and I appreciate that you know the lingo and know the impact, but now what we're really focusing on is hotel demand. As our supply rises with hotel rooms, so our demand is still staying in the 3.5, sometimes more % range. That continues to show a healthy and very a healthy market to move forward in. You all know the major hotel developers around here. As that lodging tax continues to grow, we have the ability to do more and more in our park system, in our brand and our identity, and it starts right here. You see that middle number, 66.33% average monthly occupancy. I can't tell you how high that is. There's numerous data points out there. Each hotel will probably tell you a different number of where perhaps they break even or where they make money. It's usually somewhere in that mid 30% range. So to see an occupancy in that range with an average demand that is always in that 3 to 4%, we have a healthy market to continue to drive visitation. And I think what's most important here, and you all recognize this, it's not displacing any existing business or hotel owners. On these weekends, when we sit at 95+% occupancy throughout Chesterfield County, perhaps because of a tournament at River City, when we build more hotel rooms, more people are going to stay in Chesterfield that are staying in Short Pump or any other place. I'm all for the regionality and the importance of that, but ultimately it's about driving that revenue back to our residents, back to our counties, and helping Mr. Luther create facilities that do what they do for our residents. And I think I want to shout out that property right there. And Mr. Casey, I know you sent this out to the board last week, but this is the first Hyatt Select brand in the entire country that Shameen Hotels opened up in Chester. And I think that shows the vitality of our market, and we all know what's coming, and as you can see on the screen. I wanted to show just kind of the growth of the lodging tax. Now, this is just the 8%. You all have heard the TID numerous times, and that is an additional 2% assessment on top of our 8% lodging tax. But if you look at that growth chart right there, you can see the significant growth. This week, we also shared with you some data behind what that, if you go back to that slide there, that those 2,200 hotel rooms, what impact they could have on us as a county. Each hotel room is about $2,900, at a very high level of return on investment back to the county through our lodging tax. As these hotels come on board, it's important to note, and with the best budget, fiscally responsible department here in Chesterfield County, what we are doing with those dollars, and you all have heard that plan time in and time out. And it's really, I look at this with great anticipation and excitement because of all we can continue to do for our residents as we grow this lodging tax. I also think it's important to kind of look holistically at the numbers in here. We can talk about economic impact all we want. You can divide an economic impact number in half for all I care. I look at those trips to Chesterfield County. If you look at this, it shows robust growth year in and year out. 5.3 million out-of-market visitors who made 52.2 out-of-market visits to Chesterfield. That's a very large number. And the data set here we use that you stayed at least for an hour in market, so that usually equates to spending time at a shopping, eating dinner, whatever that may be. But then you go to the overnight visitation portion of this. 1.8 million overnight trips that equated to 5.4 million overnight stays. Now, that's not just because of sports tourism. That's not just because of whatever intentional effort you see out there. Look at that bar graph there, where you see 8 to 31 days. I'd be willing to bet, Mr. Hart could tell us the data behind that number. Construction workers working here in Chesterfield County, all the different means that affect our visitation profile. And, no surprise, but we know where our visitor origins come from. Ms. Hart does a tremendous job using the data at our hands to market to that next visitor. But Nova, Virginia, Hampton Roads area really are our two most, visitation markets. At the bottom of that screen there, it's always worth talking about the impact that tourism and visitation has on our residents. According to Virginia Tourism Corporation, every Virginia household saves $900 annually on state and local taxes because of the revenue generated by visitors. We know it's an important part and a fabric of our economy, but it is also something that is real dollars that we take very seriously with your lead here in Chesterfield. I'm going to turn this portion of the presentation over to Mr. Mullen, but when you look at this screen, We have a healthy visitation market because we do not rely on one segment of travel. And you've heard me say this probably presentation in and presentation out. Friends and family travel is the #1 source of travel to Chesterfield. We are creating a great quality of life here in Chesterfield with your lead, your passion, and friends and family, when they invite their friends and family here, that is how your visitor profile grows. That's how our attractions and restaurants stay in business. Transient travel, just as important. Business travel, just as important. But also event-based travel is something that means a lot to all of us here and something that I am proud to have Mr. Mullen leading.
Can you go back?
Yes.
I did have one question. Can you explain to me 52.2 million out-of-state visits with 5.3 million
So that's-
out-of-state market visitors?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
So 5.3 so if you look at 5.3 million individuals who visited 52.2 million times. So the average
Okay, so
visitor.
they've come back multiple times from
Correct.
out of market.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So you'll see on the screen here the top 5 event types by category. So these are the different types of events that are reoccurring here in Chesterfield on a regular basis. Anything from concerts at Westchester Commons to lifestyle events at Pocahontas State Park, art shows and galleries at the Perkinson Center for Arts, where we held our Hall of Fame this past year and last year, home football and basketball games at Virginia State University, events at River City Sportsplex. Our data continues to collect events that are spectator-driven. And while Cole helped lead the march at the Midlothian Village Day Festival, these events just show the breadth of things that happen across our community that represents a quality of life amenity for our residents and our experiential brand. Which is why we created a sports and events division. So sports and events is made up of many different facets, from local athletic field bookings to large-scale sports tourism events, community events at the fairgrounds, and then we have events like Restaurant Week and the Hall of Fame. Looking back last year, the local athletics team, both with Parks and Rec before they transitioned over to SVE earlier this year, were responsible for coordinating over 30,000 facility bookings. So a facility booking is anybody that reaches out to our team with interest in reserving an athletic field. So the bookings that they go through on a daily basis, I like to tell everyone it's like a giant puzzle, and they have to go through all of the requests and put the puzzle together as equitably as possible, which is quite an undertaking. And Ronnie over here to my right has done a great job this year with that. There's also, we had 438 different organizations that we had to work with for all of these facility bookings on 220 plus fields, courts, and diamond fields. So one thing we noticed as we took over this function earlier the year in April is that we use a lot of school sites for our facility bookings. So the supply and demand of our field sites and recreation parks don't always meet. And I think one thing that's important to note here is that you see a number that I'm going to talk about here a little bit later, but 73% of all the facility usage is from our local residents first, versus 27% that are driven from tourism. Last year, we also hosted over 200 special events. These are community events that range from birthday parties to PTA events, baptisms, 5K runs, festivals at the fairgrounds, and much more. And I'll talk about this more here in just a minute, but we hosted 156 sports tourism events, and we're excited to announce a few new partners that will be bringing events to Chesterfield in 2026 and beyond. Our goal in hosting sports tourism events, and we say this time and time again, is to establish a home field advantage for our residents and enhance a Chesterfield as a first-choice destination for visitors. And with that, I'll turn it back.
We are going to come back to you. We have a special announcement here shortly. We're going to come back on this local athletics piece here in a second and dive in on some findings here. But first, we had a really special photo here about an hour ago, probably an hour and a half ago. And as you all know, you hear a lot about sports tourism when it comes to diamonds or rectangles or a natatorium. But I think one of our visions as we move forward in sports visitation and entertainment is high-profile championships and events that help create an identity for everything here in Chesterfield. And so with that, we have a couple of special guests here. Patrick Canesfield with the American Junior Golf Association and Troy Thorne with the golf club at the Highlands. If I could get you both up there, and members of the board, I'm actually going to have you come up here for a photo at the same time. So if I could have you get out of your seat, stretch your legs. Sorry, Ms. Schneider, I caught you off guard. We're good.
Did we just use like an hour ago? Might want to kill these lights
Yeah, I
real
don't
quick.
know, that's pretty harsh.
Ask and you shall receive.
All right, so this process really started a long time ago, and Mr. Mullen's going to dive into this, but with high-profile championships comes an identity for Chesterfield. It provides opportunity for our residents. Niche sports are a big part of what we really envision moving forward, and so we're very excited to announce the Clay Chesterfield Junior Golf Championship with the American Junior Golf Association. Mr. Mullen, get in this photo, please. And it's something that we have tremendous courses all throughout this county. Troy, we appreciate all of your hard work. So we're going to get a group photo here, and then I know a couple of you would like to make some remarks.
Oh, there's a bottle of water.
Thanks, Jesse.
Bring the sun up a little bit. Yeah, thank you. All right, that looks great. Thank you.
I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Mullen, and then we'll have some remarks.
You go sit down.
Thank you.
All right.
So this process started a year ago in December. JC and I had dinner with Patrick at the U.S. Sports Congress Conference, and for the last year, we've been working with him and Troy to find the right course, the right weekend, and make sure that we have this inaugural event kick off without any hiccups. But like JC said, it's not just about River City Sportsplex or Diamond Sports. Our goal is to enhance our tourism portfolio with high-profile events like this. So with that, I will turn it to Mr. Carroll, who very nicely helped us with this event. I've got like 8 months to ask you for help with my golf game. It's pretty subpar at this point, so I know that we may be asking you for help again in the future. But with that, I'll turn to you.
Sure. This is unexpected. I was talking with the gentleman earlier, the Highlands Golfers Club, the Highlands neighborhood actually touches 3 districts. The Dale District, which if Mr. Holland was here, that would have been the first thing that he said. It's in the Dale District. But it also touches Matoka and it touches Bermuda. It's the only neighborhood in Chesterfield County that you could actually have someone run for each district. And out of one neighborhood, everybody would be running the county, just saying. But it's a tremendous golf course, and they've just put a lot of money into that golf course. All brand new fairways, the greens, the tee boxes, everything is in excellent condition, because you played it earlier today. And so to be able to work with them, work with you all to get this to come here to Chesterfield County, I think is spectacular. We're going to do the best that we can to help you have a spectacular event, including our people pushing it out to the community. You get a lot of people from the community come down to see it. And I think that's part of it. And so we're looking forward to it. Really appreciate y'all choosing Chesterfield and coming here, and all the hard work that y'all did to make this work. I'm pretty excited as a golfer, but I also think people need to understand who's playing in this, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks so much, Kevin, and Play Chesterfield, the whole community, JC, Matt, for bringing us here. Really appreciate it. The American Junior Golf Association, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated since day one back in 1978 to the overall growth and development of junior golfers with the end goal of helping them earn college golf scholarships. So what we're going to put on here next year, we'll have 156 kids from all across the world that'll be in town playing. We expect roughly 10 to 15 states, 3 to 5 countries to be represented out at the club that week. It is a 5-day event. We welcome everyone from the community to come out. We'll have an opportunity for you to actually participate in the event with our Junior M fundraising event set up very similar to a Pro-Am out on the PGA or LPGA Tour, where you'll be able to play with top-ranked juniors during that week of the event. We'll also have a qualifying event for those kids that did not get into the event based on ranking. That'll be the day prior to that. And then the actual competition will be 54 holes of competitive golf with all the kids and parents in town throughout the entire week, no cut. And at the end, we'll crown a champion. So after kind of listening here today, I've heard passion, I've heard excellence, I've heard community, and that really encompasses everything that the AJGA stands for and does. And I think you guys will all be really excited to be a part of that and see that here next year. So once again, thank you to everyone that really made this possible, and we're super excited to be here in the future. So thank you.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, just on behalf of the owner, George Emerson, I'm sure many of you know him, but he couldn't be here today. But we are very excited for everybody that stepped up, and I know you had a big role in that. But we are very excited. He's never very excited to close the course for 5 days to get, you know why. But he's very excited about this, and he said yes right away, and he was trying to find any way possible to make this happen. So we're excited. The course is going to be great. Looks like a great team from the AJGA. We're excited to have a lot of new people in town to see the course and showcase that. So we're ready. Can't wait. Thank you.
And what's the date so everybody knows?
Right there.
June 22nd to 25th.
Oh, you always got to say it.
Yeah.
So we might miss it on the side.
Yeah, so it says June 22nd through 25th, which are the official dates of the event, and then the qualifier will be hosted on the 21st, the day prior. So.
Awesome.
After transitioning, thank you everyone. After transitioning local athletics under our department earlier this year, we've done a lot of observing and examining the processes, those that work and those that don't. And one thing I will share from our team is that, one thing JC tells us, every day, whatever it is that we're going to do it right.
Golf swing on a field hockey stick.
As a sub-junior golfer, I'm hoping to get some tips from the junior golfers.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Carroll. Really appreciate your help getting this tournament here, and could not be more grateful for all the support of the board. This is, if I walk away today, this is the slide I want you to remember. We know what visitation means, but it doesn't happen without a grassroots athletic and sports community. And I cannot emphasize enough where we have to go as a county with our youth sports programming in partnership with Parks and Recreation. Neil and I are, and Mr. Mullen and both teams are very excited about where we are heading, but it's not going to come with a lot of hard work by both teams, with your commitment, with budget's commitment, county administration. As Mr. Mullen alluded to, it's a puzzle out there. Our demand of our fields vastly outweighs the number of available quality of fields. Mr. Mullen referenced the school sites. What Neil's team has done with our park sites is, I'll show you a picture later of the Diamonds at Iron Bridge with the Hokies out there on Sunday. What they do is first class. It is a first choice parks community. But we also know we have a growing population. You saw it, the numbers referenced in BizSense today. Take this to the sports side of things. We have to continue to step up to meet the demand of our residential groups, or what we have called our co-sponsor groups. So before we come to you as a board and say we need more fields, Neil and I both have a job to do. And that job is, as they do a complete facility assessment, including our local elementary and middle school sites, we're going to do a holistic policy review of how we rent fields to our resident groups. We've already, in the few short months, Neil and I have worked together to make some immediate changes. Mr. Carroll, I've told you about a few of these over the phone recently, but our co-sponsorship is, it is old. Sports changes yearly. How amateur sports are played changes yearly. The demand for sports changes yearly. I'm going to use a travel baseball analogy because I'm a baseball guy. But when I came up playing travel sports here, your travel baseball teams were independent from Huguenot Athletic Association or Little League. Now you largely have travel teams who are playing for Huguenot Little League. They are our residents. So when you look at when a group comes to rent a field, if you are co-sponsored or not, if you are a nonprofit or not, if you are serving our residents, you need to be on our fields. I don't want you leaving, Neil and I don't want you leaving Chesterfield, and you shouldn't have to pay for our fields either. And so we are going to go through a holistic scheduling and co-sponsorship policy review as Neil and his team go through a complete park and rec facility assessment. And we're going to come with a strategy of how we meet the demand for our residents, how we maximize the use of our fields. I'm stealing Neil's quote here. His job is to, basically grow the grass, and our job is to kill the grass. And we really do mean that. We want to maximize the usage of our fields, but it's not going to come with some tough conversations. We have done things largely the same way for a very long time. There's not going to be exclusive facility rights, if you want to call it that. Just because you've had a group of facilities since day one, your makeup, it's going to be a data-backed approach with Ms. Hobson's lead. How you serve our residents is how you're going to get on our fields. And, my goal simply is, and I know Neil is on board with this, we're going to use all those tourism dollars to eliminate our local fees. And I think that's very important for where we are heading, and that fabric of how we incorporate sports is to get rid of our local fees and maximize the use of our fields. I wish I could mic drop and walk out right now on that slide, but that's how important it is to what we're doing. And I really appreciate, Neil's efforts in this, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Hobson's efforts. The one line I don't like to hear, it's always been done this way. I respect wholeheartedly where we've come from, but we are a growing population, and sports is at the DNA of our community.
So this is our tourism profile from this past year. We hosted 156 different sports tourism events, and I know Mr. Poma says this quite often.
Just 1 second. I think what you just touched base on is pretty important. We need to make sure that we have equity across the community, an opportunity on these fields, especially for our kids that are from here. Sports tourism is absolutely fantastic, and we love to see everything that's going on and bringing everybody here. But also it's about making sure that our kids who live in this community get an opportunity to play on these fields as well. And it's a fair opportunity in all parts of the county. So I appreciate the approach that you're taking and moving forward to make sure that there's equity across the group here. Because we've seen shifting in these leagues and how many people in one league opposed to another league. And so we have teams that are, or leagues in some senses, that are stuck in one place, and they don't get an opportunity to play in some of the other places. And some leagues don't get enough even field time, comparatively speaking, to the amount of children that they have on their teams. And so the approach that you're taking, I look forward to seeing what you come up with and how that works out.
One other point, you mentioned that we want to use tourism dollars, but those tourism dollars that we're using are from people from out of town staying in our hotels that are only able to be used to generate heads and beds, which our facility improvements take care of, but that's also how we take care of our citizens.
Correct. Well said. Thank you.
So the chart on the screen is our tourism profile from this past year. You'll see we hosted 156 different sports tourism events, but the two numbers that really stand out the most when you look at this is, of all the attendees that were at our tourism events, 40% of them continue to be from local. So that means, to Dr. Casey, the line that we like to say, the home field advantage is still there. And then when we go through our data, the facility usage still favors heavily local use. 73% of all scheduled athletic fields are for our local co-sponsored sports organizations, whereas only 27% is derived from tourism events. So, we're continuing to make sure we favor our residents here in our backyard first.
And Ms. Schneider, I need to call out quickly. The award-winning River City Sportsplex, I know it is a great county asset, but that was a big award for us in our industry to continue to show off the venues, what Parks does. So I know you go out to River City right now and it looks great with the additions out there, but it's already an award-winning facility. And Neil, thank you for all you do out there. Our brand is extremely important to us. We are a content machine. Ms. Hart is the best of the best at what she does in getting the word out. I wish we could be everywhere. We can't. So we like to say, it's really, one post at a time. And we mean that wholeheartedly. When you look We wish we could cover and be at every attraction every day, but we live and breathe by showcasing the experiential aspect of Chesterfield. A lot of destinations think you have to create a profile. You have to create what you want to become, whether it's food and beverage or outdoor recreation. No, Chesterfield is about our quality of life, and we have so much breadth in our community that, with a very limited staff and limited budget, we do things very methodical in where we are targeting residents, where they come from. And as a DMO, we have a lot of opportunities through our grant programs to do that now. And I'm going to show you just a quick video on the right. This is a very strategic marketing effort by us. We partner with social media influencers in different geographic areas to help drive visitation. This was a Vacation Starts with VA grant that was amplified by Virginia Tourism. And really largely, you'll see the engagement in that bottom right photo from the Northern Virginia market.
The Safari Sky Ride. This is just one of the activities we did on our recent trip to Chesterfield, and it's the family trip that has left our kids asking when we get to go back. All the activities at the Metro Richmond Zoo took us by surprise, add in exploring mining ruins at Midlothian Mines Park, trying out new board games at Unplugged Game Cafe. The new Katie and Friends playground is accessible for all ages, and the cabins at Pocahontas State Park give nature with the accommodations you want. Grab a drink and a bite to eat at Guide Roasting Company, and top off the perfect family trip to Chesterfield with Klein's Dairy Bar.
So that's just a very, determined effort by us is to use these grant monies to help us get out in the community and be as fiscally responsible as possible. I'm also super proud of Liz. This is something, this is really our first in-house created campaign. And we just launched this last week. You're not going to see it locally yet as we get, I feel like, after Halloween is probably pretty appropriate here locally, but we're trying to influence holiday travel decisions right now. And this is a really, really fun campaign that Liz put together. You can even see the great logo that Constituent Media Services created with the tacky lights around Experience Chesterfield. We have one of the brightest holiday destinations in the country, and people don't know about it. Led by the Tacky Light Run, we're really using this as a occasion to influence travel in what we call a shoulder season, one of those months where occupancy is not high as it is. You'll get a sneak peek of the vibe here. Or maybe not. And just so the record shows, our models canceled on us that morning at about 9 a.m. So Liz ran and got Adelaide out of school. Don't tell Dr. Murray that. And we made the best of it because we had a lot set up to go into these assets. So the visitor guide, Dave, Teresa, your team was tremendous in helping us get this started. Year 2 will be even better. Don't tell anyone, but that's the cover photo coming soon. On the right, we had a great photo shoot. I'm really excited. Quickly, Mr. Mullen.
Establishing the Hall of Fame in year 1 was one of the most exciting things that our team has had the ability to work on. Members of the board, I believe all of you have now been to one of our Hall of Fame events, whether it's last year or this year. And we want to continue to thank you for your support with this initiative and hope that you continue to see the excitement that's built around this event. The purpose of the Hall of Fame is to recognize the past sports history and excite the future of what's to come. We talk about storytelling a lot in our department, and the number of stories that we have come to light from this Hall of Fame is incredible. I remember last year, Bobby Watkins got up and spoke about being inducted into the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame, but Chesterfield was the one that mattered. It's where it all started at the grassroots level, and it's stories like that that make us want to continue going and growing this Hall of Fame event every single year.
And really, in closing here, we're adding one element to the Hall of Fame that you all have heard about, and I'm really, really excited about what's to come with this in 2026. We are starting our Scholar Athlete program to, again, really story tell around our high school student athletes, and thought I'd show you this promo video with Dr. Murray.
Chesterfield High School sports have long been the backbone of our community, connecting families and neighbors through a shared sense of pride and tradition.
Through covering athletics in Chesterfield, I've seen firsthand how sports can help young men and women become future leaders.
Chesterfield has partnered with CBS 6 to honor 22 of our high school students. Between September 1st and October 31st, each high school will nominate one male and one female student who exceed in the classroom, on the field, in the community, and demonstrate leadership.
Each honoree will receive a $500 scholarship, be featured on CBS 6. In addition, 2 nominees will receive a $1,000 scholarship and have their names engraved on the Hall of Fame wall at the River City Sportsplex. For more information on the program, visit playchesterfield.com.
I'm just personally really excited about this one. But in closing, a year ago plus, Mr. Holland threw out the first pitch at the Diamonds at Ironbridge in the Dale district. We didn't know what was coming down the road here. And on Sunday, a few of us were out there when the Virginia Tech Hokies came, and really is probably the biggest thing to play on our field. But all I could think about was he'd probably be up there, and what would he say? Welcome to the Dale district. And I just think it means a lot to know the backbone of tourism through Mr. Holland, but also, the timing of having them here. There was someone definitely from above watching on Sunday. So appreciate your time, and it's been a fun year. And all of our partners, Neil, Dave, thank you, members of the board, thank you for all your support. And with that, I'll take questions.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Carroll.
We hold a lot of events in Chesterfield where people come from other parts of the country, and I know that our communications and media people can't be at every event. But I had an idea. I don't know if you guys have even thought of this, but it just popped into my head while we were watching this. Have we thought about partnering with the schools, with kids that are in those programs to say, hey, look, would you like to get some extra credit? And work with the schools to say, when we have these weekend events, have the kids come out, take pictures, and do a story on it, or video, and that they could actually provide to us, and would help them get the experience that they're looking for in that type of avenue, and help us to cover some of these events. And we could, partner with them and with the schools. I don't know if we've considered anything like that. Maybe you already have, but
Dave's ears, I'm sure, perked up when we heard that. And we agree with you. I'll just give you one example. Everybody knows Mr. Ken Oxendine.
Yeah.
Works with schools.
Yep.
We're actually exploring, there is a sports broadcasting part of the career and technical education component, and that's one example we're pursuing right now, is how to loop those into not just the high schools, but our events as well. So adding on to that is something we'll definitely look at.
when I was a kid, we had a high school radio station. Now, that's a long time ago, right? WCVY 91.5. I know, that's weird. I remember the stuff. But one of our announcers was a guy named Alan Beswick in high school. Alan Beswick went on to be one of the major announcers in NASCAR across the United States. But he started out at a high school radio station. And when I think about those things, I go, any opportunity we can give our kids that may be a life-changing opportunity for them in the future, I think we need to do. And I think this is one of them that could make a difference for the kids in the future. So
Thank you.
just something to consider.
I agree.
Thank you. I was coming up with ideas. Are we finding that filmmakers are reaching out to us to want to film here in Chesterfield County? I know we have Pocahontas State Park, largest state park in Virginia. Are we getting any folks that are, or at least are we going out there and asking that question.
Yeah, I think the proactive piece of that is something I'd love to pursue further with the State Film Office. You would be surprised, HGTV actually is here more often than you think with our growing population, new homes. There's been numerous instances of that in our time, but the proactive piece is something it's probably on my top drawer sticky note that my team knows I always have in there, but I do agree with you.
I'm just excited I'm going to have a tree lighting ceremony at. Just joking. No. Huh? Yes, spooktacular. And I've got something else I'm going to try to be there, but I'm excited to see more and more things happening at River City, and hopefully Genito Road can handle the traffic impacts, and we'll work on perfecting the traffic flow in and out, I think, for multiple things that
Mr.
we're
Luther
looking
is
at.
we're working
Yeah.
hand in hand on a traffic plan out there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, a lot of good things going on. Thank you for sharing that with the community through this afternoon work session, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, members of the board.